Happy Friday, everybody. Got a little Friday fun for you. I figured it's been a while since I've done this. So, for today's video, I wanted to do a kind of recap video, not a review, just kind of recap and run over some of just a handful of the recent books that I've read. So, I pulled the stack out and I committed one of the acts I did not intend to, and I put everything away that I had read pretty much everything that I read recently. I put them back in wherever they were right now, even though a little unorganized right now. So I couldn't remember where everything was, but I was able to pull out a few books that I had still sitting out, as well as a few that I remember that came were right on the top of my head. So we're gonna do that and go over a few books. I'm gonna start with this one. So DC Comics, I showed this one off because I picked it up on eBay not too long ago, and well, obviously most of these are pretty recent, but this is the Superman 80-page giant from 2011. They're out there. Fantastic cover by Dustin Nguyen. Great artist. And I picked this up because, even though I talked about this, I was grabbing a few books from one seller, and I just saw this in there, and I figured I didn't have it. I have the Batman one, so I'll grab the Superman one for the hell of it. Why not? And it is basically a kind of, like an anthology book anthology featuring stories, with stories featuring different characters from the Superman family's kind of supporting cast. So Supergirl has a story, Jimmy Olsen, oh my gosh, Lana Lang, and what the hell is the reporter's name? I forgot her name now. For some reason, just completely blanked out on me. Bizarro and the Kents with Superboy or Ma Kent anyway, and then Superman's, I guess his dad, I forgot which one it was. But so all these kind of just supporting characters, and honestly, it's not a good read, not at all. I didn't enjoy the only story I really enjoyed, or the only story that I could say I enjoyed even a little bit was something to pull from it, was the Supergirl one. And I don't know if it was honestly just one of the better stories there. The Jimmy Olsen one, even though I don't actually like Jimmy Olsen that much, there was, I don't know, just kind of this weird sci-fi story, even though, I don't know, it just seems weird because it was kind of dealt with Jimmy Olsen having clones, and so all these clones of Jimmy Olsen are just out and they created lives and they're just doing all this random stuff, and then they're just dropping dead out of nowhere. So it kind of has this one character who you think is the real Jimmy, and he's kind of going out trying to figure out this. So he's tracking down clones and finding out they're dying, I think. And then I think that's what he's trying to do, just trying to track them down. And then at the end, it has Superman in it, so Superman's kind of tagging along with this. And then at the end, we realize that the Jimmy Olsen that we've been following through that whole little story is one of the clones. And then I'm pretty sure he dies at the end. But I don't know, it's just too much. And then it does, I think, was this the book that did it? Yeah. I want to talk about this one specifically. I think it was this issue. So it does one of the things that I hate that DC has done. And they keep adding, I swear, every fictional story that involves Superman and touches on Krypton at all, they all do this. They keep adding to the backstory of Krypton. Nobody fucking cares. Honestly, they just keep adding more stuff. Okay, so there's more people coming out of Krypton. More Kryptonians are popping up and they're super powered on Earth. They're popping up in the Phantom Zone. All this other stuff to keep adding more layers to the backstory of Krypton's demise and all this stuff. I don't care. Honestly, I'm so disconnected. And I guess I get it. You're trying to build the world, but you can't. I just don't understand. I guess I can understand. I just don't care for it. You keep adding to this, to the backstory of this dead-ass planet that's never going to come back. It's over. Just let it go. So just keep adding to the story. And I don't know, whatever. But yeah, Superman 80-page giant. I'm trying to keep a timer, trying to watch. I don't want to dwell too much on this. Now, next up, this was a good read. So here is the relaunch of Amethyst from DC. This one is Amy Reeder did, she drew it, she wrote it, and I imagine she still does. I don't know if she does all the coloring, but Amethyst kind of delves, if you never read any of Amethyst, which I recommend, I like it. And the reason I jumped into this first, why I picked this up, I talked about this before, is because I read the issue of the last Amethyst miniseries, which was it was reprinted in as one of the stories in one of the 100-page giants that I have. I can't remember which one exactly. It could have been the Flash one. But I was like, oh, that was pretty cool. So when I saw that they were relaunching it with a reader kind of heading up, I'm like, oh yeah. So first, you got a character in this kind of world I'm already kind of curious about with a creator that I absolutely enjoy, and she's drawing and writing it. Sign me up. So I grabbed this. And it's a great looking book, obviously, which you can expect from any reader. Fantastic artist. I met her. She's a cool person. And so it deals with this girl who has a life on Earth, but I'm getting mixed up with the other miniseries, but she kind of finds out, I guess basically the backstory is she finds out through her mother that they have this whole other world and this other life on this other kind of, I don't know, say universe or whatever, and she's this princess, and there's just a whole lot of stuff going on. It's a big fantasy world, and it's such a good book. If you get a chance to read this, and who knows when the hell the next issue will be out. Actually, issue 2 is out. I haven't read that yet. I should have read that before I did this video. But it's a good read anyways, and I just wanted to point that out. So, Amethyst, recommended. Now we're going back with one of the other books that I picked up recently. Here is Captain America 122, and I haven't even taken this out of the bag because it still has X-Men 153 there. But Captain America 122, featuring the Scorpion, the sting of the Scorpion. And obviously I picked this up because I'm collecting Captain America, but it's extra motivation because it features Scorpion, who isn't a typical Captain America foe. So it has, Scorpion, he's just out of prison, and he's testing out this suit. So he's trying to, he's like out on the street and he's just trying to test this out. But what he doesn't realize, he's like, okay, so he finds somebody walking on the street. He's like, all right, I'm gonna test myself here with this person. But what he doesn't realize is that it's Steve Rogers just kind of walking. He's just taking a walk because he's kind of fed up with stuff. And so they kind of go at it. One thing that's disappointing was I was expecting a fight. But I'm like, okay, so I like Captain America fighting. I want to see Scorpion fighting to the tail and whatever enhancements the suit does. I don't know if it did much back then, but it just wasn't. It wasn't the fight. It wasn't to the level I was kind of expecting. Expecting like a fantastic looking brawl, got Gene Colan here, Stanley. And it just didn't live up to kind of my expectations of what it would be. Also, it does what a lot of books in those older years were kind of doing with the writing. So Stanley, there's a whole lot of writing, the writing it feels disconnected from the art, in that writers are kind of sharing they were like literally writing out everything that was happening in the panel. It just seemed a bit much, instead of kind of having that as a script, and then the writing is like the dialogue and maybe some thoughts, and then letting the art kind of tell some of this other stuff. But instead, it did kind of let it with it was just a bit much. So I would like to see this kind of redone and kind of the writing pare down and let the art do a little more, as well as have a better brawl between Cap and Scorpion. So Captain America 122. And then this book, finally, Strange Adventures #1, relaunch, Mr. Odds and Tom King, Evan Shaner, Amazing Science Fiction, ? So this one is the relaunch of Black Label, Strange Adventures. So you got Adam Strange coming back. He's on Earth doing a book tour, like this book signing tour. And throughout this, he's kind of going through, or I don't want to say reliving his memories, but just kind of his memories of his time in space, and some of the things that he's done are just kind of flashing throughout the story. And as we get through it, someone is killed with a sort of what they believe to be like a high potent kind of laser gun, like head just completely just obliterated. So, and it all kind of leads back to Adam Strange. It's also because it was the guy had died. I think he had got into it with Strange at some point in the story. So he's kind of facing this in the middle of everything, and he goes to, they pull in Batman to say, he's like, oh, you're the world's greatest detective. Like, here's my gun. Like, investigate this. Show them that I'm innocent. And then it kind of leaves. I like the ending because, well, it was a decent read anyway. but it leads, or the ending kind of shows him. It leads, or like the last 2 pages can show him kind of, oh hey, he's here, and kind of talking, and then when you flip to the last page, it shows him shaking hands, and you see the fair play on the fair play word on the jacket is Mr. Terrific. So I'm like, oh, you bring Mr. Terrific into this? Okay, now we're on to something. But the one thing I still think is a bit of a drawback on this one, it's a $5 book. So you're talking a 12-issue series. Each of these issues are going to be $5. I have no idea why. Unless it's, I didn't count the pages, and I have no idea if it is a higher page count, then that would be different. But, so, Strange Adventures #1. So a solid read. And next up, we have X-Men King Size Annual #4. We got the X-Men, Doctor Strange here. This one was a pretty cool tale. You got, the cameo by Doctor Strange. I think a lot of those annuals back then were good times to have a lot more random crossovers. So, was this guest starring the master of the mystic arts, Doctor Strange. Beyond Dante's darksome doorway lies Nightcrawler's inferno. So, if you like Nightcrawler, there's a good story because it has Nightcrawler taken down to hell to kind of. I'm trying to figure out how best to describe this. I just couldn't, like, Nightcrawler gets kidnapped, and I was trying to remember I was just reading something else about Nightcrawler, so now I got all these stories kind of mixed up in my head. But there's a nice opening shot there. Nightcrawler. But you got the X-Men, Doctor Strange here, and they're kind of celebrating. It starts off with the X-Men kind of celebrating, and then Nightcrawler gets kidnapped, and Doctor Strange shows up at the door. So Xavier calls Doctor Strange in. You're dealing with, I'll show you this right here. You can kind of see the characters kind of behind it all. And we got Storm and Nightcrawler at one point there in this kind of, was it Storm was in a sort of catatonic state for a little bit. It may have been Nightcrawler actually, but it's a solid read. And oh yeah, I like this panel right here. Look at that panel right there, Wolverine with his claws popped. This is good. I forget like how much I want to say about this without doing like a full story recap, but this is good. It's a good read. You got the X-Men and Doctor Strange, obviously. Oh, and here she is. Is this Amanda Sefton? I forgot. But here, X-Men, Excalibur fans, you'll like that. Like that little cameo appearance there. And O.J. Simpson ad. show them your heels. But yeah, solid read. Yeah, Amanda Sefton. But she was I think she was like hidden off as another character, and then yeah, so she was kind of whatever. But yeah, so anyways, that's a good read. X-Men Annual #4. Just annuals those days were just do a lot of crazy shit, random crossovers. So, and last up we have the series that I talked about in a video last week. Here is Silent Dragon. I said I was going to reread this from Wildstorm, 6-issue miniseries, and I incorrectly stated that it was like a strictly feudal, what was I going to say, feudal Japan like era story. It's actually kind of a, it's more futuristic, and with elements of, so like let's say feudal Japan didn't exactly like get washed over as the age went on. So you kind of got all this mix of everything, and you still have kind of loyalty and the samurai and, well, the samurai loyalty to their master. So you have this one samurai who kind of gets betrayed by his master. You got all this, like these Yakuza clans and several other different clans, and there's kind of this, I don't say power vacuum, but just as one person who's building up, trying to establish and take more control over forces in Japan. And there's a whole lot going on here. You have samurai, have all these kind of different upgrades, and like a robot army of like samurai or like kind of ninja robots that can be controlled. So all this stuff. So the main guy, he gets beheaded and he's brought back to life, and and as he's brought back to life by this one organization, he's kind of controlled into, or they're trying to get him to kind of help set this other planet in motion, and there's a whole lot going on. It was such a good read. So I only read it the one time when I first got it, and I was, what year is this? I don't even know, 2006 or something, 2006, 2007, and I read it after that. It was after the first initial drop, because I picked them all up, and it's so good, seriously. And Lena Francis Yu, who I was already a fan of at the time, I think that's why I picked it up, also with the kind of Japanese setting there and the samurai, and his art is just so good. I remember I was a fan of his from his XMen stuff, and so as I said, I think that was a big prompt for getting this, a big draw for wanting to pick it up. But man, it's so good, and especially just to kind of go back and look at some of his older artwork, like, it's just good stuff. So if you get a chance, if you can pick this up, especially if you can pick it up cheap, it's on mycomicshop.com. All 6 issues. I don't think they had the trade available. I just looked it up just to see like how much the issues even were, or if there was a trade available. But it's such a good read, and yeah, you got there is a little bit of romance, because you kind of figure out these two, like, he's in love with this lady who actually is, she's with the guy that kind of betrayed the main dude. So it was mad. Like, he just came back and he's like putting his new body with all these crazy enhancements, and the people that put him back in that body to bring him back, they put a bomb inside his head, and yeah, it's such a cool story. Just a whole lot of elements going in there. So yeah, that was, I just wanted to do a little recap and kind of run through some of the books that I've read recently. Marvel, got some superhero stuff, DC, Wildstorm, some fantasy stuff, and yeah, just cool stuff. So that's that. Let me know what you think. If you've read any of these, let me know what you liked and which ones you didn't. Also, if you want to see more of this, I will be happy to keep doing them, as I plan to anyway, because I'm always reading stuff, and you kind of see. Also, this gives you just kind of idea of like a lot of my reading taste, because they're just all over the place. So, and I'll be constantly reading stuff from different eras. So it'll just be modern stuff mixed in with Bronze Age, just all over the place. So that's just how it is, comics. So yeah, just let me know what you think. Hope everyone had a good week, and let me know what you're up to this weekend, what you've been reading this week, what you're reading, or what you plan on reading this weekend. I got a lot of stuff on deck, organizing some comics, and a bunch of stuff that I will be reading, as well as probably some other stuff like, oh, let me read this right now, because that's just how it goes. So that's that. This is GENOTHADRAGON saying, happy reading, happy hunting, happy collecting. Thanks for watching, and peace out.